You are standing in a forest. You are not hunting. You are not running. You are not making any threatening gestures. You are holding a granola bar and wearing hiking boots and doing absolutely nothing dangerous. And every single animal within a quarter-mile of you is either already gone or in the process of going. Not because of your size, not because you are physically imposing in any way that would make sense to a creature that evolved alongside wolves and bears and big cats. Because of something much older and much stranger than any of that. You are the most feared predator this planet has ever produced. And you have been for a very long time, long enough that the fear of you is no longer learned. It is written into the nervous systems of animals that have never seen a human hunt, have never experienced harm from a person, and have no individual reason to be afraid. They are afraid anyway, because their ancestors were not. Start with what fear actually is in the animal world. Fear is not an emotion, not exactly, it is a calculation, a continuous background process running in every prey animal at all times, mapping the landscape around them for threats, and calibrating every behavior to the probability of being killed. All of it is a constant negotiation between the need to survive the day and the risk of not surviving it. Ecologists call this the landscape of fear. It is the invisible architecture that predators impose on ecosystems simply by existing. Not by hunting, simply by being present. A wolf that has not made a kill in a week is still reshaping the behavior of every deer within its range. The deer do not know the wolf is hungry. Here is how it started. But possessed of something that no other predator on Earth has in the same combination, the ability to regulate body temperature through sweating, the endurance to run at a moderate pace for hours without overheating, and the cognitive capacity to track prey across days and terrain that should have made tracking impossible. A cheetah is fast, a lion is stronger, a crocodile is more armored, but none of them can follow you across a desert in the heat of the day for 6 hours without stopping. Your ancestors could, and they did, regularly for hundreds of thousands of years. From the perspective of a gazelle, seeing a bipedal creature appear on the horizon at a slow jog was not a minor threat to be evaluated and dismissed. The ones who ran immediately survived. The ones who waited to assess did not. And so, the fear was encoded, not as a memory, but as a reflex. Not learned but inherited. Then we invented tools, then fire, then traps. The fear should have grown with each of these developments. It did. In 2016, researchers at the University of Western Ontario published a study that confirmed something remarkable. They played audio recordings of humans, not screaming, not threatening, just talking casually, the kind of conversation you would hear in a coffee shop, to animals in the wild. And then they compared how those animals responded to human voices, versus how they responded to sounds of actual predators. Wolves, lions, dogs, the results were not close. Mountain lions fled from human voices, at more than twice the rate they fled from other predators. Bobcats, deer, skunks, and possums, all responded to human sounds with faster and more extreme flight than they showed to any other threat. Some predators, animals with no natural enemies of their own, still showed full panic responses to the sound of a human conversation. Think about what that means. An animal that has never in its evolutionary history needed to fear anything, abandoning a kill and fleeing at full speed from the sound of two people discussing their weekend plans. This is not about current behavior, it is about historical memory encoded in DNA. We hunted mountain lions. We killed them near livestock and near settlements. Over thousands of generations. Even the top of the food chain learned the same lesson that prey animals learned. Humans are unpredictable. And in the animal world, unpredictability is the most dangerous thing there is. Most predators follow patterns. A wolf hunts at dawn and dusk. A crocodile ambushes near water. A hawk takes small rodents in open fields. Prey animals have spent millions of years learning these patterns. Knowing the pattern is what keeps them alive. Avoid the riverbank at drinking time. Stay out of the open at dawn. Patterns are manageable. We hunt in the morning and at night. We hunt alone and in groups of hundreds. We hunt from the ground and from boats and from the air. We use spears and traps and poison and drones. We hunt animals we eat, animals we do not eat, animals that threaten us, and animals that pose no threat at all. We hunt for food, and for sport, and for reasons that make no sense by any ecological logic. From the perspective of any animal nervous system trying to model the threat, we are insoluble. We are a variable that cannot be solved. And when a threat cannot be solved, the only rational response is complete avoidance at all times, regardless of context. This is why a deer runs from you even when you are standing still eating a granola bar. It is not reading your specific intentions. It is executing a program that says human-shaped thing equals maximum danger always regardless of current behavior. The program. There are places where animals show no fear of humans at all. The Galapagos Islands, Antarctica, remote marine reserves where fishing has been banned for decades. In these places, birds do not fly away when you approach. Marine iguanas allow themselves to be picked up. Penguins walk directly. Fish in protected zones actively swim toward divers, while fish in adjacent unprotected zones flee. Or animals in places where the fear has faded because the threat genuinely disappeared. The fear of humans is not a permanent factory setting. When Darwin arrived in the Galapagos in the 1830s, he was baffled by this. He wrote in his journal about pushing iguanas into the water, and watching them calmly swim back, and sit down next to him. He thought the animals were unintelligent. They were not unintelligent. They were running an accurate model. No human had ever harmed them. Their model said humans were safe. An animal that had evolved with no ground predators and no reason to fear anything that walked upright. Sailors described them walking toward hunters, not because they were stupid, because their model was built for a world that no longer existed the moment the ships arrived. This is what the landscape of fear reveals about us. The animals that run are not being irrational, they are being accurate. Humans have caused the extinction of hundreds of species. We have transformed or destroyed more than half of all natural habitat on Earth. We have fundamentally altered the global climate. The animals that flee when they sense us are making a statistically correct prediction about the consequences of our presence. But here is the cruelest part of this dynamic. Because animals fear us and flee from us, we often do not see the full scale of what we are doing. Wildlife becomes invisible in human-occupied landscapes. We enter nature and see less and less and interpret the absence as health. There is a final piece that completes this picture. The fear can dissolve. Mountain gorilla tourism programs in Rwanda and Uganda have documented gorilla groups going from fleeing on sight to tolerating, and in some cases actively approaching human observers, within just a few years of careful, non-threatening, consistent presence. Not because the gorillas forgot that humans are dangerous, because they were given enough consistent data to update their model. These specific humans, the squirrel on your lawn is running a survival program refined across hundreds of thousands of years. It does not know you are harmless. It knows what you are. It knows the history of what things like you have done, and it is making the rational choice. The question is not why animals are afraid of us. The question is whether we are capable of giving them a reason not to be.